Co channel. My name is Abingdon, and you are joining us live as we go through the new Jordan automotive watch. I have been super excited about doing this because over the last month, we introduced this watch back in March, and it's just been going gangbusters. Everybody's been wanting to review it. We got watch reviews on Watchanista. I believe Adam Swords and Michael Blakey are going to be reviewing it, and just the reception has been phenomenal. So I have been requested to do a video where I just go over all the features, talk about the inspiration of the watch, and all of that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you have not joined us before, then you are at the Abingdon Co channel, and this is where we go on adventures with women in non-traditional fields. We release episodes where we're going base jumping, we're going scuba diving, we're racing cars, we're flying airplanes, just doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. And most of it is all about the women who wear these watches. So we call up all of our customers crew members, and these are videos about their crew. So that's what this channel is all about. And then we also go over watch stuff. And that's one of my passions as the CEO of this company, is making a quality watch and something that was designed and intended and marketed for women, because in the watch world, there's not always as many options as what the men have. So this is one of my favorite timepieces that we've ever released, and I'm going to go over all the features with you today. I actually took my husband's watch. He has the Jordan in Boulevard Black, and I'm going to kind of go over how I was able to take it this morning and fit it to my wrist without any tools, but it's just one of the features that we have. So before we start rambling, let's just jump into this, okay? So the Jordan automotive watch is in two different color choices. You've got your British racing green, and then you have your Boulevard Black. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the inside. I'll show some close-ups, and we'll work from the inside of the watch all the way out. The reason and the inspiration for this watch is because so many of our crew members that fly airplanes and scuba dive and are in the military, they also are motorists. They have motorcycles, they have fast cars, they like to race, they like to be on the track, and they wanted something that was a little bit more automotive inspired. So we've been working over the last few years with several people in the automotive space in NASCAR. You guys might have seen the video that we did with Natalie Decker. So automotive racing, I mean, for me, I drive a Mini Cooper supercharged. It's an '05 convertible, and I've tricked it out a little bit to make it faster. So I myself love driving and love speed. My husband drives a Tesla, and though I love the speed on that, it's not driving, it's like auto driving. So, but it's still a super fun automobile. I don't know if I would necessarily call it a car. I call it a people mover, but different story for a different day. So if you are into the automotive space, or you ride motorcycles, or you like any of those types of things, that is why we designed the Jordan watch. So let me get into this. So this is my personal watch here, the Jordan in British Racing Green. And like I said, I also stole my husband's. I'm wearing his today too. But starting from the inside out, the Jordan is a quartz watch. I'm going to kind of get real close to the camera here so you can see some of the close-ups. It's a quartz watch with a 40mm case, and you're looking at a stainless steel case, and then also band. Now in the Boulevard Black, we have an IP plating, and I'll talk about how we do our plating in a minute here. But if you want to take a quick close look, I'm going to try and make sure that glare doesn't come up. You got, there we go. It's a little bit difficult, but there we go. So you have the British Racing Green dial, and inside there are elements that are all featured on racing. So working from the inside out, inside this watch is a Miyota FS20. It's a Japanese all-metal movement. Reason I really like this movement is because it's the same movement that we use in our Jackie watch and our Catherine watch. So if you know those two styles, you know how reliable of a movement this is. The FS20 is a 5-hand movement, which means you've got your hour, your minute, and your second hand. And then you also have the 2 subdials right here, which are going to be military time at the 3 o'clock subdial, and then a 60-minute timer on the 9 o'clock subdial. We've never had an issue with this movement. It's one of my favorite movements that I've put. I mean, I now have it in 3 watches, so you can see how much I like this movement. It's just a really reliable, nice movement, and failure rate is next to nothing. I think we're probably less than 0.5% failure rate when it comes to this movement. So we don't get a lot of service in with this. And that's one of the best things, is that when you get a watch that has this type of movement in it, you're just gonna wear it and you're gonna enjoy it and you're not gonna have to worry about it. So we chose that movement for here, but one of the things that I did is, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a long, long time, is combine the idea of a stopwatch and another time zone. And I've wanted to do that since day one. If you know the history of the Abingdon Watch Company, the first 2 watches that we came out with were Amelia and Jackie. Jackie being a stopwatch with the FS20 movement, and then Amelia being a GMT watch. I have always wanted to have a GMT and stopwatch combined into one watch. And it's a difficult movement to obtain or to have built. It ends up becoming very expensive. There's just a lot of roadblocks. So I haven't been able to build a watch that has those 2 features in it until Jordan. And Jordan, I kind of tweaked it in a way so that you can get both another time zone and a stopwatch. I'm going to go over that in a second here. But so one thing that you are going to notice is, you see how the second hand just stays right up at the 12? That's always going to be there. So I'm going to put the stopper in, and now the watch is running, but you notice that the second hand doesn't move, and that is intentional. So the second hand is really your stopwatch hand. So when you want to engage your stopwatch, it's start and stop on a top button, and then reset on the bottom button. So now, as you look at it, you're gonna see that the second hand starts moving, right? So, oh, that light is a glare. So there you go. So you've got that ticking now. Now you can leave this engaged and have a working second hand for just wearing it regularly. A lot of customers do that. Not a big deal at all. It's not gonna wear down your battery too much. You might lose, I don't know, maybe a couple of months out of your battery life, but it's perfectly fine to do that. That's what you like. If you like to have a ticking second hand on your watch, by all means, just keep it engaged and don't ever stop it. But when you want to use the stopwatch feature, then you would hit the start, and then to stop it, you can click stop. And then when you reset it on the bottom, you reset it there. And you notice how it just sweeps right back up. So I'm going to do that one more time. So see, you can start it, and then, there we go, that's better. And then you can stop it and reset, and it goes all the way back around, back up to 12. One other thing that you can do with the FS20 movement, which I think it messes up a lot of people that don't realize that they've done it with their watch, but it's honestly a really cool feature, is you can set that second hand wherever you want on the watch. So if you don't want it to sit at 12, but maybe you want it to start at 60 at 6 o'clock, or like pointed down, you can completely do that. The way you do that is you pull the crown out 2 clicks as if you're going to change your time. So this is just me setting the watch. And then you just start hitting the start button a bunch of times, and you can move that second hand all the way around the watch. If I hold it down, you see what's happening right there? It's just going around and around and around until I stop it. So one really, really cool feature that you can do is you can manipulate where you want your second hand to lay. I think that's one of the coolest things. I've used that oftentimes when I'm just in whatever situation I'm in. If I want to have it set off to the side, or if I want to start it at a particular point, I'll do that. So there's that. And then once you're done setting it where you want, you just press the crown back in. So 5 hands, hour, minute, second, and then you have the 2 subdials. At the 3 o'clock, you've got your 24-hour military time conversion. It's coordinated exactly to the regular time. And then at the 9 o'clock, you've got your 60-minute timer for the stopwatch. You also have a date function between 4 and 5 o'clock. And I don't think we've ever not released a watch that doesn't have a date function. Did I say that grammatically correct? If I didn't, I think you know what I mean. But all of our watches have a date function on it. And so the FS20, 5-hand plus a date. So there's that. Let's see, what else? One of the things that you'll notice is the sunray dial. Now, it's a bit tricky to see in this video, but the pictures on the website show it really well. All of the elements that were in the design of this watch, from the sunray dial, or the sunburst dial as the watch industry calls it, to even see the subdials, how they almost look like a speedometer or something off of the gauge, like a gauge off of your car panel. So they're all designed with the idea of speed, with the idea of automotive. And one of my favorite features is our custom case back that has the racing, the checkered flags. So that's also another element that shows and denotes speed. With the British racing green, you're going to have a leather band, a leather racing band. And with the Boulevard black, you have steel. Now this is an IP plating. So when you look at, and I'm gonna probably get a little bit too technical here, but IP, all that means is infused plating, which means that they've infused the plating into the top layer of the steel. What that means for you is if you're really hard on your watches, or if you are concerned about plating wearing off, you literally have to wear through a layer of steel in order to get the black off. So it's very, very difficult. And I'm going to show you my band, because this is my band off of my Catherine, which is, I think it's about a maybe six-year-old watch is my Catherine. And I just took the black band off of my Catherine, put it on my husband's watch so it would fit my wrist. And as you can see, there is really no wear in 6 years. And I love my Catherine in Storm, so I wear that one a lot. So something really nice if you're concerned about the plating, that it's pretty much not going to wear off. So let's see, I went over the movement, I went over the hands, I went over the date, I went over the dial, case size, I think I mentioned 40 millimeter, second time zone. So the second time zone, put this watch back, we'll go on the green one here. So I love the second time zone, and the second time zone is rotated by this crown down at your 6 o'clock position. What you'll notice is on the dial, let me see if I can do this one-handed so I can give you a close-up. It didn't work out that well, but you're getting the idea. Is you see all these numbers that are in an inner rotating bezel. It's not called a bezel. Why am I blanking on the term? I got yelled at by the watch industry one time about this. Chapter ring, there you go. So there's an inner chapter ring, and that has another time zone in it. The brilliant thing about this is it is not part of the movement. It's not part of any, it can't break. It's just 2 gears that we set up. And we did this on the Elite watch, and we also did this on the NGPA anniversary, the 30-year anniversary watch that we created for them a couple years ago. And it's one of my favorite features. I wish more watches did this, because you don't have to, when you change time zones, as long as you're within 12 hours of a particular time zone, you don't have to change anything with your watch. All you have to do is just set this lower bezel, this lower crown, to whatever time zone you're in, and you're done. You've got 2 time zones on your watch. So I'm going to show you how that happens. So we're in Las Vegas. This is Pacific time. And let's say it's 12 o'clock here. What time would it be in New York? That's kind of how you have to think about it. So when it's 12 o'clock here in Las Vegas, it's 3 o'clock in New York, right? So what I've done, I'm going to show this to you, is I've put, hopefully you can see that, I put the 3 right above the 12. So the 12 is the dial, on the dial, the hour marking, and then the 3 is positioned right above it. So now all I have to do is I'm just going to use the hour marking, not marking, hour hand, and I'm going to look and say, okay, this watch is obviously not set to Pacific time. Right now it's showing 10:15, but when it's 10:15 here, it's going to be 1:15 in New York, because that hour hand points at the 10 for Las Vegas, and then it points on the chapter ring at the 1, so it's 1 o'clock New York time. I've basically set Vegas time as the regular time on the watch, and then on the outer chapter ring, I've set New York time. So that's how I read the 2 time zones. I'll always have Vegas on the inside, East Coast on the outside. And if ever I change another time zone, I don't have to pull the crown out and change a time. All I gotta do is just rotate this, and it's super, super easy. So I've never had a watch where I've had a stopwatch and multiple time zones in the same watch, and this is literally the first one that we've ever done this on. You have no idea, like it's been a 15-year dream come true to have these 2 features on a watch. So probably my favorite feature of this. Let's see, what else do we have here? We also have the tachymeter. So we're working on the inside going all the way out. So the tachymeter is printed on the outside of the case, and the tachymeter will do precision timing. If you're in the automotive space, you understand how a tachymeter works. If you're not, what you're using is you're using that same second hand that you're timing your seconds, but a tachymeter will allow you to time them to 1/100th of a second. So it's a much more precision time. People use it for laps, like when they're racing laps around a track. Or if they just want something that is a bit more precise than 60 seconds and they want to go to 1/100th of a second, then you can use the markings on the outer. And I'll link some videos in the description after this live is done to some great videos that show you how to use a tachymeter on a watch. So you've got the tachymeter. Couple other things, you have water resistance is 330 feet, so that's 100 meters. Sorry, just did a blank on that. So 100 meter water resistance on here. You also have, sapphire crystal, of course. Sapphire crystals are standard across any Abingdon watch, so that's going to be a feature that you'll have on all of them. We didn't do a domed crystal. Instead, what we did was a flat crystal. I've personally found that flat crystals are a little bit more glare proof, or I just don't catch as much reflection in a flat crystal versus a domed crystal. So that's one of the reasons why I like using flat crystals on all of the watches. But I mean, these are super, super durable with the sapphire, with the steel case, with the 100 meter water resistance. I mean, you can do a lot of damage to this watch and it's still gonna be okay. So you have that. Another thing on the back side is our interchangeable bands. So if you notice that we have on the inside or the underside of this band, 12 is written and then 6 is written right here. So what you can do, and I'm going to show you how I do this really quickly on these 2 watches, is without tools, you have 12 indicated for the 12 o'clock side, and I just took the band off. And all you have to do is just move that little piece over and you can take the band off really easy. 6 o'clock is on the other side, so now this has no band. Now this is gonna probably look a little strange, but I'm gonna put the black band onto the green watch and I'm gonna put the brown band onto the black watch. So you can see how easy it is to change. On the inside of these, on the metals, it's the same exact thing, but instead of having 1 pin, you have 2 pins. And this is something that's standard across all Abingdon watches. Don't you love the sirens? We're in downtown Vegas, so, you know, things happen down here. Come visit us if you ever come to Vegas, by the way. We would love to see you. We get customers coming by, and last week we had an awesome customer, right, come by, and she picked up the Jordan and Boulevard Black. It was her 5th Abingdon watch. She ended up picking up 2 watches, so I thought that was super cool. Carrie, if you're watching, hi, it was great to see you last week. So anyway, our bands also have that 6 and 12 on either end on the inside, so they're really, really easy to remove. And then all you have to do is just line it up with the 6 to the 6 o'clock side, and then the 12 to the 12 o'clock side, and you basically have a watch that you can switch out bands with. And that's kind of what I did this morning when I borrowed Sean's watch. Is I said, hey hun, you know, I've got my British Racing Green watch, but I really want to wear a black watch as well. Do you mind if I borrow yours? And I just took the band off of my Catherine and I put it on his watch. So that's how I was able to switch out the watches, or switch out the bands and not have it dangling around my wrist, because he's got a much bigger wrist. So this is the British Racing Green with a black band, kind of different, very unique. And then with the brown band, I actually really like this combination on the Boulevard Black. After I fit it in the holes here, we're going to be just about finished as I go through. I think I've hit all the different features, and look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So this is definitely one of my favorite combinations, is the brown band with the black. Very, very sporty, just beautiful, beautiful watch. So I'll put these back after this video, but if you do have any questions about this watch, I love sharing all the details. I'm super transparent about why we did, what decisions that we made, and it's super fun to talk about watches. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll definitely check in and answer any questions that anybody has. If you enjoy this video, then by all means, please click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified for when we have videos. We do videos of women, watches, adventure. I mean, I kind of went over it a little bit at the beginning, so you know. And if you have seen this channel, then you definitely know what we do. So it's been a pleasure having you guys with me today. I'm so glad to be able to show you some of the details of the Jordan watch. I hope you enjoyed this. And when we have another video, we'll let you know. I think next week we're going to be airing another adventure video, and then after that I think we're going to be doing another live. So you'll be seeing a lot more live videos on our watches and some of the things that we're doing. So definitely want to click that subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.